Welcome to Echoes of Time, a journey into the forgotten worlds and the secrets they left behind.
All right, today we're heading out on an adventure. We're going deep into the dusty landscapes of Nevada, looking for the ghosts of the Wild West. Not the spooky kind, but the ones made of splintered wood and forgotten dreams.
So let's kick things off with a number that's, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Over 600. That's how many ghost towns are estimated to be scattered across Nevada. And get this, to put that in perspective, that means Nevada has more ghost towns than actual, populated towns. Just let that sink in. It's a state that has more past than present, at least when it comes to its towns. Which brings us to the big question we're going to dig into today. What happened here? What forces could possibly create hundreds of communities only to watch them vanish into the desert? How did Nevada become the ghost town capital of America?
To really get to the bottom of this, we need an expert guide. And we've got one. Meet Tammy Force. She's a historian who has literally made it her life's mission to visit these places. She's been to hundreds of them, mapping out the memories of the Wild West. So why Nevada? Well, it pretty much boils down to one incredibly powerful driver: mining. People were heading to California for the gold rush, and on the way, they started looking for treasure in Nevada. The result? Something like 90% of all these ghost towns, they owe their entire life and their death to the hunt for gold and silver. But this wasn't just a few guys with pans in a river. Oh no, the whole thing just exploded, all thanks to one massive, game-changing discovery. We're talking about the Comstock Lode, and this thing wasn't just a small find, it was like a giant treasure chest buried under the mountains. It kicked off this huge population boom, created unbelievable wealth, and built towns like Virginia City. But all that promise, it came with some serious danger. See, here was the catch. The very ground that held all this treasure was incredibly soft and unstable. So in those first few years, the mines were just collapsing all the time. They were absolute death traps. So you've got this life or death situation. What do? Well, it forced them to get incredibly creative. And what they came up with is a fantastic story of human ingenuity under pressure. I mean, think about it. That was the fundamental question. How do you stop an entire mountain from collapsing on top of you while you're trying to dig out a fortune? The solution they came up with was brilliant. It's a technique called square set timbering. And honestly, it was a total game changer for deep earth mining, not just in Nevada, but everywhere. The idea is genius in its simplicity. It's basically like Legos for mine shafts. You cut these big timbers with notches so they interlock perfectly into these hollow cubes. Then you just stack them side by side, one on top of the other. Suddenly, you could build these massive, stable rooms deep underground. And this invention, born right there in Nevada, it spread all across the American West. Okay, so they solved the collapse problem. Awesome, right? Well, not so fast. As they dug deeper, a whole new problem bubbled up, literally. They started hitting geothermally heated water, flooding the mines with scalding hot floods that made work almost impossible. And the place where they came up with the solution for this problem, it was so remote, so ambitious, that even our ghost town expert Tammy said she wasn't sure she'd ever make it out there. That tells you just how epic this next feat of engineering really was. And this was the answer: the Sutro Tunnel. I mean, just look at this thing. It was a massive, nearly 4-mile-long tunnel. Its job was twofold: drain all that dangerously hot water away from the mines, and just as importantly, act as an escape route for the miners if something went wrong. So you've got all this incredible technology, all this ingenuity, but there's one thing technology can't do. It can't create more gold. And that really gets to the heart of the boom and bust cycle. It was always going to run out. And right there, that's the core of the ghost town story. These towns existed for one reason and one reason only: the mines. So when the gold and silver were gone, the jobs were gone. The mills went quiet. The people just packed up and left, often leaving almost everything behind. But is that the end? Just empty buildings and dust? Not always. Let's take a trip to a town that kind of blurs the lines, a place that makes you rethink what a ghost town even is. Welcome to Midas, Nevada. Population? 14. Yeah, you'll see it on maps listed as a ghost town, but tell that to the 14 people who call it home. For them, it is very, very much alive. So Midas had that classic boom and bust story. Gold was found in 1907, the town boomed. Then, during World War II, the government shut down the gold mines to focus on other minerals. That should have been the end, right? But somehow, Midas held on. It never completely faded away. We get to hear from someone who actually lives there, Dana Bennett. Her family is a huge part of keeping the town's history alive, and she has this great way of putting it. She says, yeah, they live there full time, but they might share it with some ghosts. So when you really look at it, these places are so much more than just a bunch of abandoned buildings, right? They're these incredible monuments to human cleverness, like that square set timbering. They tell the story of boom and bust. And in towns like Midas, you see that there's still places of community, connecting us directly to the Wild West.
You know, that's really the main takeaway here. Ghost towns aren't empty. They're just overflowing with stories. Stories of hope, risk, and survival. And it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What stories are hiding in the landscape right where you are?
This was Echoes of Time. If you love powerful history stories, subscribe and continue the journey with us.